Hey, in this video, I thought I'd do a little something different and bring you along as I build an actual funnel for my own business for Convology. It's going to be a workshop funnel. And if you get my newsletter, you'll know that I've recently decided to put a lot of my funnels inside of HighLevel for a variety of reasons. The funnel that I'm going to be building is for a workshop that somebody can sign up for. And once they've signed up for it, it's kind of like an evergreen webinar. They're going to be able to watch the video. They're going to get some email sequences. There's going to be a lot of different like conditional logic inside of my automation. And then I'm also going to put an offer in, and I think I'm going to add some scarcity into it as well. So if that interests you, stick around. All right, we're going to get started. I think I'm going to use the webinar funnels feature. It would also work totally fine with actual funnels because technically all of the steps that I'm going to do are applicable. But I think I'm going to try out the webinar feature for this particular funnel. So let's go ahead. Let's create a new webinar funnel. This one is going to be on demand. You can also do live, but I'm going to do on demand. The funnel that I'm building right now is for my quick start guide to HighLevel. Might change that name. It might be like getting started with HighLevel, but I think quick start guide, maybe like HighLevel quick start guide. I think that'd be pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and click continue here. And we need to make a registration form. So actually, let me go ahead and make that first. I didn't realize I needed to make it first. So we're still in the right spot. We're under sites. Let's go to our form builder because I'm going to use the HighLevel forms to enroll people. And the reason I'm doing that is because I really want all of my data to be in one place. All right, so I'm going to add a form. We're going to do it from scratch. I'm going to call it my HighLevel quick start guide. All right, now I'm going to do some editing on this form. I'm not going to be gathering any like text messaging info. I'm going to delete that. One of the new features you may not know about is they now have inline editing. So you can like click on the actual form itself and add labels, descriptions, placeholders, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to get rid of all this extra stuff that I don't need. All right, now I'm going to change the button color. There we go. Something I hope they bring into the form editor is the color management that they brought into the builder itself, like the page builder, which we'll take a look at as I'm building my actual page. But we'll change that to my brand blue, and then I'll change the button to something like enroll in the free workshop. It's good enough. Probably gonna make the font bigger on that. I don't need placeholders. I'm gonna come into style options, and I'm gonna get rid of a lot of this extra space. Like we don't need to have all the extra padding and well, I guess it's just the padding. I don't need all the extra padding. I don't want it to affect the design of it. I can do that at the actual page level. And then on, here's a little thing most people don't realize that under advanced settings here, this is where we can get rid of that shadow. Just want to make it totally transparent. I don't want it to pop off the page. Width on this, the width doesn't have to be more than like 300, does it? I don't know, maybe it'll do like 450. That's totally fine. I could also control that responsively with like a container or something like that. But I'll go into colors background and I will make the background of the form completely transparent because I don't need it. All right, so now it looks a little bit better. I think it's fine as a getting started spot. So I'll go ahead and click save on that. And now we at least have a form to play with as we go and experiment. So there it is, my workshop quick start guide to HighLevel sign up form. We're going to come back to webinars. We're going to create our webinar again now that we have a form. We're going to call this our quick start guide. It's good enough. Click next. We're going to select our workshop form that we made. We need to upload a video file. Alrighty, I actually had to run my video through Handbrake because it was like 4.1 gigs and the limit to upload is 4 gigs. So just keep that in mind if you are wanting to upload a video like a 30-minute workshop like I'm doing. But I'll go ahead and upload my workshop here and it should go pretty quick. There it is, it's all done. So we've got our video. We'll select our video there. We'll go ahead and click next. And they have some templates that you can choose from, or you can choose like a blank starting template. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I think I'm going to go with a blank template. So I'm going to click blank, and I might regret this decision, but I'm going to try to import some snapshots that I've got that I think I like the most. But we'll go with the blank one. They've automatically given me 3 different pages: my registration, confirmation, and then the actual broadcast page or the player page. And I think I'm going to add more to this. So I'm going to do this little drop down arrow. I'm going to open this in a new tab and let's go ahead and see what we were working with here. Okay, so it's pretty empty at the beginning. I just didn't really like any of the registration templates. So I'm going to just build my own using some of the pre-built pieces here. So like opening up the element section, I've got all these pre-built pieces that I can just drop in. So like I could drop in this dark section at the top. I could change the background color to be my brand background. The instant access button could trigger the pop-up, and then I could put my form actually inside of the pop-up. So I could add a row. I could add my element here to search for the form. Actually, the form's right here. I'll just drag that in. We'll select our workshop form. Perfect. I'll make the background of the pop-up here be probably also that darker color that I used for my brand. Could also go to custom colors, and this is what I was talking about with before with the form. I really like that we can add custom colors. Looks pretty good. Go with that, and then we're going to add in a headline here. We can add in an element, drag in the headline, change the headline's color to be white, and we'll say enroll in the free workshop. Looks good to me. All right, so now we've got our pop-up here, and I can change this button here to trigger the pop-up, which it already is. So our enrollment is going to be on the pop-up. Let's go ahead and preview that. Boom. Okay, that's going to look really good. I want to change this border. I don't love it. But generally speaking, that's a pretty good start. And I can swap out some stuff. And it also had exit intent, which I think is awesome. So we'll go with that. I'll swap out my logo with this one. There we go. Uploaded my white logo. I think that looks pretty sharp. I need to change some of these CTAs here. I'm going to make this probably like an orange CTA, or maybe if I made it like the high level, I think I'll brand it like with some high level. I don't need this text here. I can get rid of that. Let's bring in a couple more pieces as we flesh out this page here. I'm going to go back to my section templates, or actually my pre-built sections. Okay, now I just want to do a little bit of customization here. All right, I have my workshop page pretty much where I want it. It's simple enough. I've never put a lot of time into my workshop sign-up pages because generally speaking, when somebody finds my workshop page, they've already decided that they really want to sign up for it because I'm not bringing a ton of cold traffic to my website. My website's mostly warm traffic. So I want to get all the friction out of the way for the sign up and just give them a little bit of information so that they can decide whether this is the workshop for them. So I decided not to embed the form itself. I didn't think it looked quite as good. I went with the pop-up instead. Allowed me to put some graphics in there, name, email, enroll in the free workshop. This is really something that I can duplicate and replicate really easy, regardless of like how many form fields I decide to add or whatever. It's all there. 4 little section of what they're going to learn, and then some FAQs down at the bottom. All of the buttons here are triggering access. I got some little things to fix like button colors, but generally speaking, this looks good enough for me. So now our next step is going to be to build our webinar confirmation page. And again, I've never been big on making this super complicated. For me, the webinar confirmation page is literally just going to be a chance to tell people what is going to happen next or what they need to do next in order to watch the webinar. So here's the default page if you started blank, and you could technically just put a button on the confirmation page that says click here to go watch the webinar. That's fine. I have found that over the years, I do get some people signing up with like burner emails or fake emails. And if I redirect from my webinar registration page to my confirmation page with no kind of mechanism for checking their email, I have found that a small percentage, but there are a percentage of people that are going to throw in a fake email and see if they can just go watch your content for free. I do want to try to block that at least. I want people who are legitimately interested in engaging with me and my business to sign up for my webinars or my workshops. And by the way, I'm calling it webinar workshop. It's kind of the same thing. It's a webinar funnel, but it's a workshop. It's an evergreen webinar, so to speak. So with the webinar confirmation, or we'll call it workshop confirmation, I could rename these things because mine aren't webinars, they're workshops. So I'll just call this workshop registration. And actually, I'm going to name this something different. I'll call this workshop because if I need to reference this somewhere else, I'll also change the URL as well. So webinar registration, HLQSG. That's fine. Something that's unique there. So I'll update that page, and then I'll update the other confirmation page as well. So you just click those little 3 dots and click settings. Now that that's edited, let's go ahead and jump into our confirmation page again. And I'm trying to decide what I want to put here. I think I'm just going to do like a check your email type thing, something super simple. If you do want to use the button, here's a little tip for you. You can select the button, and then on the right-hand side under general, scroll all the way down to see button actions. You can say link to, and then say go to page. And then under webinar page, you can select which of the pages that you want to redirect to, and that will just basically send them to whatever page you've selected. So in this case, this would be like the webinar broadcast page or my workshop view page, whatever I've called it. And I just have to refresh this to get those names that I entered in. But I'm not going to put a button here. I think I'm going to make them check their email to get the link to it. I think I like that a little bit better. So I'll delete this, and I'm just going to go in here and add in a pre-built section. I'm going to drag in one of these. I think this works right here. Just drag this onto my page. I'll swap out this image right here with one of my workshop images. So there we go. I'll drop something like that in. Okay, I put together my confirmation page. Pretty simple. For me, I generally keep these simple. However, with this workshop, it's a little bit different. This is my like quick start guide to high level, and I wanted to make sure that anyone that signed up for it had a plan for high level. So maybe take some of what I'm doing here and apply it to you if you're running a workshop that is maybe also driven by an affiliate program. So for me, my high level affiliate program and my high level white label for my agency are pretty big revenue sources. So here's what I did. You're registered for the workshop. I like to include a here's what to do next section. Right up at the top, I just said make sure you have a high level account. You'll need one to follow along with the workshop. I've included some info below where you can sign up if you're interested. So I'm just going to come in here and say you'll need an account to follow along in the workshop. If you'd like to get my high level bonuses, I've included info on how to sign up below. Good enough. We'll go ahead and save that. Okay, so now, and then I just say, check your email and then enjoy the workshop. It'll be available to you to come back and watch. That's something that I do with my workshops. I just make them available for people to come back and rewatch anytime that they want to. I'm going to use scarcity in my offer, but I'm going to keep the workshop open and available because I find that when people come back and watch it, you'll see my strategy that I use on my watch page. The offer is basically visible to them all the time. Okay, so now down below, basically where I talk about needing a high level plan, here's where I offer them the opportunity to get one. Not a high level user yet, choose your plan. There's a typo there I need to fix. Put a space there, hit save. I'm basically giving them two options that either way are going to benefit me as part of this funnel. I get to double dip in the value and they get to double dip in the value. Why? Because I can get a secondary revenue stream in addition to the offer I'm going to make, and they can get additional value by signing up under me. It's a win-win for both of us. So they can choose their plan. The left one's an affiliate link, as you can see, and then this one is directly through me that sends them to go purchase through my high level setup. And then I've got some FAQs like the differences in the plans, what if I'm already a user, etc. I might put some more FAQs in here, like for example, I'll add another one here, and this one will say, how long do I have to watch the workshop? Right? Sometimes people miss the fact that up here I said you can watch it however long you want. So I'll say something like it's available for you indefinitely. Come back and watch it anytime that you want to. All right, and that is my confirmation page. Right now it's time to build the actual watch page. I don't know what to call this other than a watch page. That's what I've called mine. We can open this up and we can edit in a new tab here. And by default in the webinar funnel, this is a little bit different than just the normal funnel, but if you're doing the webinar funnel for your workshops, it's going to automatically put the video in there for you. And based on the video that you selected when you were setting up the quote unquote webinar, and again, I'm going to use those words interchangeably. When you set it up in the webinar funnel, you uploaded a video and you chose one, it automatically put it in here. You can click change video at any time. I put all of mine inside a workshop videos folder, but that's where you would upload them to. And then you can select a thumbnail. I'll do that after I make one. But then for some of the video controls here on the right-hand side, we've got the ability to autoplay. I'm not going to turn that on personally. I do allow pause and play. Why not? For me, these are workshops. These are meant for someone to learn, to use, to employ the tactics I'm teaching, to be able to do the things they're watching. Some people use webinars for like strictly like hardcore selling. Maybe you're going to want to take the controls off. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you, but I feel like why not just let them watch however they're comfortable. I am going to be adding a lot underneath my video though, because I'm also using this as a sales page for my offer. So I'm going to enable picture-in-picture mode on scroll. That'll be super useful to me on my page. Redirecting unregistered visitors is an interesting one. Like you can redirect them automatically to the registration page if they try to come here automatically without having registered. I'll save my page and I'm going to get to work building this thing out. I'll show a little bit for you while I'm building it. I've got a couple sections here under my pre-built, or let's see, section templates. I'm going to start adding in some pieces that I've saved from other landing pages that I've kind of chopped up and saved components for. But we'll go ahead and put in a claim bonuses section here. This one next, and then I'm going to put in, I think I'll put in my bonus CTA, and then I'll add in my bonus details, and then the everything you get section. So I'm adding all of these onto my page to build kind of like an offer page, and then we'll reconvene after I've updated it. Okay, I've put together the watch page now. I want to go through it with you really quickly, and then we have some editing to do on it to finish it up. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I've put together. I've got the video at the top here, and I went ahead and put my logo for some branding, but then I have this special offer button here, and when clicked on it, just scrolls you down to this part here that I've tried to make visible when someone's watching the workshop. So my philosophy on the workshop page is that they can come here, someone can come, they can watch the workshop, they can get all the free value that they want, they can leave. At that point, they've gotten what they signed up for. However, I am going to take the opportunity to show them a special offer, basically try to continue their journey to add to the value that they received in the workshop. Now, something that we're going to add together is a little bit of scarcity here. There's going to be a countdown timer, and we're going to add that in a second. This particular offer is going to be a 25% off on the lifetime deal of my membership, which I typically don't promote my lifetime deal public facing. I typically do more of a recurring revenue model public facing. But I do occasionally put it inside of my workshop funnels, and I swap it out here and there whenever I feel like selling or not selling the lifetime model. But in this case, somebody can get it for $1,500 instead of $2,000, which would be the normal amount that I would send to someone if they said, hey, do you have a lifetime deal? What I do in this little beginning part here, obviously we're going to add in above this a countdown timer to let them know it's limited time. But what I like to do is give them a big picture of what I'm offering and provide some steps. So that's the first thing I do here. And I say, step 1, watch the workshop, get the most out of it. Step 2, scroll down, see all the bonuses, see if it's for you. And then step 3, if it is, be sure to sign up before the time expires. And then I put a button for them to claim their bonuses and become a member. Now, what I do below that is I go through all of the perks of being a member and the bonuses that I'm offering. So in this case, all the things that I offer, and then the exclusive bonuses that I make only available for someone who signs up from this workshop and before the time expires. So in this case, I'm offering a free 30-minute onboarding call, which is highly relevant to the topic of the workshop. In this case, this workshop is how to get started quickly with HighLevel. And so a free 30-minute onboarding call with me is a huge bonus because someone that's watching this is looking to get started quickly. It's a great way to overcome those initial struggles with setting up the platform. And then the second option is it's actually this webinar funnel or workshop funnel that you're watching right now, including this page and some automations we're going to build together in a little bit here. But all of that I've packaged up and made available. And so again, this really tailors towards somebody who's getting started. They're going to not have everything at the beginning, and they're going to see this as a time saver and a frustration avoider. And then I put in a bunch of testimonials from members, written and video versions for extra social proof. And then I kind of summarize what they get. I go over the discount, the benefits, the bonuses, and then I remind them of the price, and then give them the option to join. Now, let's go through some of this really quickly here. Like I mentioned, this button here is just a normal button, and I have it set to scroll to element, and it's going to scroll to this section right here. All of these other buttons are set to go to my sales page, which we haven't made yet. We're going to make that together real quick. I'm actually just copying another sales page that I have, but they're set to go to page, so it just takes them right there. Now, we already went over the video settings, but I am just confirming that I am going to leave on the progress bar, despite it saying that for better tracking to disable this. I find that I like people being able to kind of see a progress bar, see how much is left, move it around to go back and forth. I know that I'll be giving up a little bit of better progress tracking by doing so, but I think that personally that's okay. Okay, so we're going to return, and I've actually imported my sales page here, but I haven't done any edits to it. We'll go ahead and edit that together in just a little bit. But I want to start implementing my scarcity campaign with the HighLevel countdown timer system that they have. It's kind of relatively new, and I've been meaning to make videos about it, but this would be a great opportunity to introduce it in a real case scenario. So I'm going to navigate over to marketing, and I'm going to go to countdown timers. I'm going to add a new countdown timer. I'm going to choose a design that I like, and some of these are really terrible, but I'm just going to go with something simple. Like I'll go with this one right here. We can make minor tweaks to it in a little bit, but I'll continue with the template. And let's go ahead and say that this is going to be a dynamic countdown timer that refreshes for each recipient. And the countdown duration, I'm going to set this to 2 days. So I think I'm going to say 2 days from the point that they sign up. I really want people to kind of feel the scarcity, feel the need to sign up, but I'm going to give them 2 whole days to take the workshop and to kind of digest the information. And that also gives me plenty of time to come back and to say, in a future email that, you've got this much time left, and put the countdown timer in an email, which again, we're going to do together as we build out the email components of this funnel. So I am going to trigger it when the email is sent. I think this is a fantastic kind of mechanism that HighLevel offers. Previously, for years, I used Deadline Funnel. No real complaints about Deadline Funnel other than it's just super complicated and really expensive. Essentially, sending the emails is how I'll do it, because when someone signs up, they're instantly going to get the email. So we'll just keep it in my time zone, and then active timer leads to link. As this little tooltip says, the page users will land on when they click on the timer. We're going to send them over to our sales page, but we're going to do that after we kind of assign a domain name, which I probably should have done already, to be honest with you. So why don't we go ahead, give this a name. We'll kind of do a few settings there, and then we'll come back. So we'll call this this will be for our workshop. So I like to label everything because I'm going to have multiples. And this will be getting started with, get started quick with high level. Let's go ahead and hit save. We're going to have to come back to this in a second. Like I said, I did it out of order, but if you do, that's okay. Just hit save and we're going to go back. So what we're going to do now that we have this basically created, we're going to quickly assign a domain so we can just get our clean links and do it at the same time. So we're going to go back to our sites and we're going to go to our webinars here. Going to find our high level quick start guide workshop. We're going to open that up. And then under settings here, we're going to select domain. The domains that I have aren't applicable, so I need to add a new domain. By the way, this whole domain section is relatively new. They've kind of condensed a lot of it now that they're offering domains for sale inside of high level and all kinds of stuff like that. But let's go ahead and connect a domain. We're going to connect it for our WordPress and funnel, and we're going to enter in a domain. We'll call this one workshops.convology.com. We'll hit continue. Says connect your domain. We'll hit add record manually. Because we're on Cloudflare, we can just click continue. If you're not on Cloudflare, you'll just need to get that CNAME and manually add it in. I have plenty of other videos on my channel on how to do it, but we'll hit connect. And this is going to walk through basically saying, okay, where's your domain registered? Where's the DNS managed? It's going to say, oh, look, it's Cloudflare. So I'll go ahead and hit authorize domain. All right, it's going to pop up here. I'll hit authorize, and then it'll say it could take 30 seconds. Okay, that wasn't too bad. It was about 30 seconds. So I'm going to connect this one actually to a webinar, and I'm going to connect it with my high-level quick start guide. And the default step would be registration. I'll probably want to come back and assign a 404 page in the future, but for now, I think that this is fine. And I might change something with this default step because we'll see how this works out. But we'll go ahead and click proceed to finish on this one. And now you can see I have 3 subdomains here. I have all of those added under the one domain, which is nice that they've kind of condensed it like that. Okay, so now that we have the domain added, we can go back to our sites. We can come into here. There it is, workshops.convology.com. We'll be good to go. Payments live, optimize, all that stuff's good. We're just gonna leave that as default. And now each of these pages is going to be, if I go to settings here, it's going to be workshops.convology.com/workshop, HLQS register, etc. So each of these will now be at that subdomain that I made. Now, with that in mind, what we can do is we can go back to our countdown timer now that we have official URLs. So I'm going to actually open it in a new tab. I'm going to right click on marketing, open that in a new tab, and that's going to let us basically be able to come in here and swap tab to tab to cut and paste a little bit easier. So we'll go to our countdown timers. We'll go find the one that we made. And again, if you do this in the correct order and not out of order like I did, you can create a new timer at this point. But okay, here we go. So the active timer is going to lead to our checkout page, which is going to be over here. And I have created it, even though it's a placeholder, I have gone ahead and assigned it a path. So now if I come back into here, this is going to lead to HTTPS, which is already put in. So all I have to do is start typing workshops.convology.com. I should put the .com in there, .com/ there it is. And now we need to make a page where it links if the offer's been expired. So if the offer's expired, I need to have a separate page made. For now, I'll put in my convology.com/convology plus page. I'm going to just link this here. It's what I typically do on my campaigns. If they go in their email and they click an expired countdown timer, it's just going to take them to the page where they can get the full price. And I think that's fine. There's our countdown timer. Now that that's made, I'll just leave that open in a new tab still. I'll come back into, let's go into our watch page, open that in a new tab, which is always good to do. And actually, I'm glad I left this open in a new tab. I want to do styling first. And so I do want to show all of these because you can turn them off if you don't want to show seconds, but I like it. We're going to keep our font. I think all of that's fine, but I do want to change the counter to be more of like a blue color. There is an expiration image that we can put in. I don't think it's mandatory. We'll leave that alone for now. And I'm going to take off all the extra padding. We can do that later. So there is our countdown timer now. And let's click save on that. And then come back into here and go to add element here under countdown timers. Yeah, there it is. Dynamic. Here it is. So this will be our, you can see this little flag dynamic here. We're going to drag this in, drop it onto our page. Now here we go. On my watch page here, there's the countdown timer. So it's basically letting them know that there's this limited time offer. So they'll have it at the top. I'll send them an email. It'll be in their email and I'll put it at the bottom. So let me pop back in here and let me scroll all the way down here and I'll drop it in here where it says limited time. So I'll go to countdown timers, drop it in there, hit save. And now our countdown timer in scarcity is set up on our actual page. And now we just need to create some emails for that later on. But before we do that, let's go ahead and wrap up our actual funnel pages with our checkout page. Like I said, I imported a template. It's pretty easy to do. You can like click and add new page here. And I'll just make a demo test one here just to show you what I did. You click create new page, and then it gives you the option to use an existing page or create one from blank. I said use existing. And then all I do is I come in here and I can say from a previous funnel, I can choose a different funnel that I want to use. And in this case, I could choose a webinar. So you can import existing pages. And I just imported one from a checkout page that I've used for almost a year now that's been converting well for me. I just imported that right in, and then I just started editing. So here's what I've come up with so far. My design is basically 2 columns here, logo at the top. I created a graphic here, just something simple in Canva to get the idea across that they're getting the membership and then the bonuses, kind of reused some imagery. I brought the countdown timer in again because I think that would be useful just to remind them that the offer is limited, put the price in, and then I just brought over the exact same things I had on the watch page for what's included. I could also add a testimonial in here if I wanted to. Like I could come into some pre-built sections. Let's go to testimonials. Let's find a good like one-off testimonial block that we like the look of here. All right, there we go. Just brought in that testimonial. And I actually ended up just using what's called the image feature. So if you come over here, it's just the image feature in the element tray. Didn't even use a testimonial block because I thought this looked better. Now I need to create a product and swap out this form because this is not accurate. So let's go ahead and save this page here. And we'll go ahead and come back out here. We'll go to payments. And now I need to create a product. I'll go ahead and click create product. And then depending on how you're set up or what you're selling, your process here might be a little bit different. I'm going to be selling a one-time lifetime membership. So I'm just going to call this Convology Plus lifetime offer. And I'm going to go down to one time. The amount is going to be $1,500. Compare at price will be $2,000. And then additional options. If I want to change anything here, nope. I don't need to do anything like that, so it should be good to go. Just something pretty simple. Untoggle that to not include it in any online store, and click save. All right, so now our product is made. We can come back into our funnel. We're actually going to come back in here in this tab, and we're going to go to sites, webinars, going to go back into this workshop. Now, products are handled a little bit different in the webinar funnels compared to traditional funnels in HighLevel. In webinar funnels, we need to click the 3 dots and choose products. And here is where we can add products to the step or the page in our webinar funnel. So I'll click add product. I'm going to find my Convology Plus lifetime offer. I'll select my price. I could change the product name. I could put a display price override if I want to do any other options here. I don't need to worry about that. And I'll just click save. So we've associated our product with our checkout step. And now if we come back to our checkout page and refresh, and there we go. We have our payment form and our checkout page. It's a simple design, but it's one that's worked for all of my past workshop funnels. So I'm not going to change what isn't broken here. Okay, so after I completed the checkout page and I thought that all of our pages were done, I actually added one more page because I think I'm going to add something here into my workshop funnel that serves 2 purposes. It's this workshop watch page, and you can't see what it is, but it's a workshop watch page for members. So if I open up the preview link for this, you're going to see it looks like my watch page, except there's nothing down below. If somebody is already a member of Convology Plus or the timer has expired, I'm going to send them here because instead of just like dropping them on my page, like my sales page on my website, I'm just going to put them right back in the funnel and just sit there with a CTA right in front of them to become a member. And that way, in the future, I could make edits to this page, and anyone who 2 or 3 months later decides to come back to my workshop, which remarkably happens all the time, people email me and say, hey, I signed up for your workshop 2 months ago, but I lost my email. Can you send me the link to watch that workshop again? I'll link them here, right? Because then this page will give them calls to action right in front of them as they're watching the workshop. So essentially what I did was I came back in here and I went back to marketing, went back to countdown timers, tweaked my existing countdown timer so that when the link expires, it just sends them to the expired watch page or the member watch page. It's going to serve two purposes, because now as we go to do our emails, I'm going to have two versions of my initial email, one for members and one for non-members. Basically, I'm going to do like a conditional that checks if they're already in my membership. If they are, I'm just going to send them to the member page. But I don't really want to get in the business of marketing to existing members. So I'm basically going to do two versions of emails, which is what we're going to go over next. So here are the templates that I've made for my emails. If you've seen any of my training for HighLevel before, or you've heard me talk about it, the importance of using templates, I think, is key. You don't want to just write all of your emails inside of your workflow automations. You want to have a template that at least looks decent, that you can use the campaign visual builder with HighLevel. In my workshop, I've got a total of 5 emails, and I want to go through just really quickly what I've put together here. So the first email that goes out, this is the email that lets them get into the workshop. This is how they're going to view it. And so this is going out to non-members, and it's going to link to the funnel page that has information on my special offer. In this email, I'm not doing any selling. I'm just telling them about the workshop they signed up for, and I'm sending them over there. This is also a good opportunity if you're doing any affiliate marketing inside of your workshop to include links to where they can get the products that they're going to need as part of the workshop. The difference between a member and not a member, it's just a different link on that button that sends them to the different version of the watch page. Email number 2 is what I call my offer email. This is where I introduce in email the offer that they probably have already seen on the workshop watch page. I like to lead my emails with just kind of like a reminder, like, hey, I hope you had a chance to check out the workshop. Here's the link to go back and watch it, because I still want to emphasize to them that they signed up for a workshop. I'm here to provide that free value to them. I want to remind them of the free value, but now I'm also going to start the selling component of my funnel. I like to include an image, something that can get their attention a little bit, something that shows what they're getting, simple little Canva template, really easy to make. And then I like to start jumping into the fact that it's a limited time offer. So what this email is doing is basically telling them, hey, I just want to let you know I have this special offer going. You're going to get 25% off my program, normally $2,000. I think this is actually supposed to be 25% now that I think about it. You're going to get 25% off my membership. That's $500. It's lifetime. Here's the countdown timer, a way to get the exclusive bonus, which takes them to the checkout page in my funnel. And then I just go through the benefits, right? This is a quick little glimpse at the benefits. Usually most people aren't going to buy just from this email. I have found that it takes another email in my funnel to seal the deal, which is why I really put most of my effort into the next one. This is kind of just like that introduction. And it starts to remind the person that, hey, by the way, there's these extra bonuses, which is the tactic that I use in my funnels. I include the offer and the bonus. And I do that because it feels like I'm double dipping on the importance of the offer. Not only are you getting this discount on my membership, but hey, there's also these exclusive bonuses. And so that's just two little triggers in their mind saying, dang, I'm going to miss out on a lot of stuff if I don't take advantage of this offer. And so I remind them what they're getting, and I give them some button links. Now, email, actually I need to save this template because I updated that percentage. Now, if we go back here, let's go to email number 3, which is reminder 1. I should probably change this to 3 and 4, reminder 1, reminder 2. But this one right here is probably the most important email. I think this is the one that sells most people. This is the one to let them know that there's only 24 hours left on the offer. I created a different looking graphic to grab their attention. And here's where I'm really highlighting what they're getting. And I start by highlighting the bonuses that are most relevant to the workshop they signed up for, because in the past, when I've run this funnel, people are signing up for the workshop because they have a problem or a need. They're trying to solve something. And so the bonuses are contributing to the solution of that problem. And so I lead with those, despite the fact that most of the true value is in the actual discount to my membership. But these 3 things are what catch their eye the most. And then I just kind of laid on, I need to fix this font size here, but then I just laid on extra with the and by the way, here's all the other amazing stuff that you're getting as a member. Like things like weekly Q&As, personalized help from me, all that stuff. So this is going to be the first reminder, what I call the reminder email. And I'm actually going to change this. That's 3, reminder 1. I'll save that template here. And then we'll go into email number 4, which is this one right here. Email number 4, reminder number 2. I just need to change this to number 4, reminder 2. This is just the, hey, one last reminder. offer ends a few hours. And I'll typically send this out when there's about 4 hours left. And so I throw in a few testimonials, here's what people who've already signed up have to say. And then I include one last reminder about what's waiting inside. And this is just bullet points of everything, including the bonuses from the previous email. With one call to action there and one call to action there, I probably have about 20% of the people that sign up from this last email. The other 80% have likely already signed up from email number 3. All right, so I'll save that template, and now we've got all of our email templates ready to go. Some real quick housekeeping items here. I wanted to go over first how much time is on the countdown timer. So initially I set it up as 2 days, but now I'm thinking of changing it over to 3, and I did change it to 3 because my first email here, if we open this up, does not have a countdown timer. It simply just introduces the workshop. Now, email number 2, 24 hours later, does show a countdown timer. So email number 2 is going to have 48 hours remaining, but it had to start at 72. So I just wanted to bring that up so that you understand that if you're going to send an invisible countdown timer like I've shown, then you're going to want to have basically that in place to add time to your countdown timer as the offset. Housekeeping item number 2 are the buttons inside of our emails. We need to make sure that we append our contact ID. So inside of all of your email templates, if you use buttons and you don't just use the countdown timer as something they can click, or even if you use something like a hyperlink, you're going to want to add !contact_ID equals left squiggly contact.id. So this right here is going to be how the countdown timer on your page recognizes that this person should be able to see the page and not be redirected. So put this on every link that you have that links to a page that contains your countdown timers in order for the person to view the page if they should. If you're noticing that your countdown timers are completely inaccurate, let's say like the countdown timer is resetting literally every time a new email is sent, that means you're going to want to come in here and make a change. So we'll come into my offer, and rather than using a countdown timer inserted with this little countdown timer event right here, what you'll do is you'll choose code and you'll drag code on your page, and you're going to want to insert the code. You can see I've already done it on this one. You're going to want to insert the code that they give you on the countdown timer itself because it's going to be more accurate than the element. I have found in some situations the countdown timer element is not accurate for subsequent emails that go out. So I will say it may even just be a better practice in general to not use this countdown timer element, which is still relatively new, and just go back to the countdown timer code for your emails. At least just in the email. On the pages, the element works great in the builder, but in the emails, I do think I would recommend, you can test it for yourself, but I do recommend the code. It's just cut and paste. I can show you where to get that really quickly. We're just going to go to countdown timers. You're going to find your countdown timer, click the 3 dots and click copy code, or you're going to click into your countdown timer, click copy code, hit copy. You don't need to do anything else other than copying it. And then we'll come back into our email templates, go into our workshop one, for example, and then we would just paste it here into the code. The last piece of housekeeping here has to do with our form, because now that we have all of our funnel step or webinar step URLs set up and ready to go, we need to make sure that our form itself on submit, so under the right-hand side, style and options, go to options, choose on submit, go to open URL, change it to the link of your confirmation page or wherever you want your form to redirect after somebody signs up for your workshop or your webinar. All right, and once you have all those pieces set up, we can go ahead and move on. Next step, we're going to go into automations. And here's where we kind of put everything together that we've already built. The automation is kind of like the backbone that handles all of the email sending as well as the wait steps between each of our emails. And this is also going to determine whether they're a member or not. So I'm going to show you some of my practices that I use for tagging, and if I'm running multiple workshops, how I stop people from seeing the lifetime offer, etc., multiple times. Which is optional. Okay, so let's get started. Let's create our workflow, and our workflow is going to be from scratch, and it's going to be called HighLevel Quick Start Guide, and we're going to have our trigger be a form fill. So this is when form submitted. We're going to set our filters when the form is workshop. Getting started with HighLevel. That's going to trigger the first email to go out. So I'll come into here. This form, by the way, I talk about this actually in this actual workshop, and I talk about this in other videos about HighLevel. You don't need to do a create contact step. If someone fills out your form, they are a contact. So our first action is going to be a condition. Why a condition? Well, this is optional, but I'm checking to see if people are already a member of my Convology Plus membership. So I'm going to do a search for if else. If you don't need to do a check ahead of sending out that first email, you can skip this step. So the action name is, are they already a Convology Plus member? We're not going to use a scenario. I mean, scenario recipe has tag, sure. That's what we're going to do. We're going to see if they have a tag. And now I'm just going to find my tags that I use. I need to clean this out, but I have a bunch of tags for my membership. So this is the first action. Are they a member or are they not? This one says if tags include this or this, and I think this needs to be includes, this is all of the selected tags. So that's incorrect. It's this tag, not and, it's this tag or this tag. That's under contact details tags, includes, and here's where we'll add the other one. So don't forget to do the or. It has this tag or this tag, if this is how you're setting yours up, similar to mine. So if it's either of these two things, if they have this tag or this tag, what am I going to do? I'm going to send them an email. And the email that I'm sending them is my template, which is why I love doing it this way. I can just drop in my template that if they are a member, boom, there it is. There's the email. Here you go. Pre-populates all my details, pre-populates my subject that I put in. I just click Save Action. Now I don't need to worry about it. Now, if they're not a member though, now we're going to send them the non-member version. We're going to select our template. We're going to choose number 1, not a member, confirm everything looks good, click Save. Now we're going to add a wait condition. And because this is not live, this is an evergreen funnel, I don't have to worry about event times like when event starts, etc. I'll go over that in another video where I do live webinars. But this one is just a time delay, and we're going to set this for days. We're going to say wait 1 day, click Save Action. Now we're going to do another check. What is that check? It's identical to this check here. I'll do a copy action here. Oh, beautiful. That's why I love HighLevel. If they are a member, basically, let's say that they saw in the 24 hours, they saw the workshop page, they saw the offer, and they're like, dang, that sounds good. I'll sign up. Well, now I don't want to pitch them the offer. They're a member. They're going to get my onboarding stuff. Fantastic. We're just going to, at this point, let that end, but we're going to send them an email if they're not yet a member. So we'll select Send Email. Probably could have copied that one as well. We're going to select our template here. This is email to offer, and there's the subject, unlock the rest of my HighLevel training. Everything looks good. We're going to hit save. Now, I bet you can guess what we're doing. We're waiting for another 24 hours. So this is the one that the timer has started now. So we'll wait for 1 day, click save. And then here, yep, we're going to copy this step again, copy action here. Checking again, did they buy from that first email? Did they look at the page and purchase? If they did, they're out of the funnel. They're being onboarded to my membership. If they haven't yet purchased, we're going to send them email number 3, which is reminder number 1. Click send email here, email number 3, reminder number 1. There it is, click save. And now at this point, we are one more left. So basically, I'm just going to copy this, all actions from here, paste that here, and I'll just insert a wait step right here. We'll do wait. Now this last one's going out 4 hours, so we're waiting 20 hours, not a full day or 24 hours, just 20 hours with 4 hours left in our offer. Clicking save. Are they a member? They're out. If not, they're going to get our final email, which is template number 4, reminder number 2, and clicking save. Now, another feature that I'm not using in this particular funnel is video tracking. We just set up my whole automation where I'm just basically checking if they're a member or not, and I'm making them an offer. But if I wanted to do video tracking, I'd go back to my workflows folder and I'd create a new workflow. I do it from scratch because we can get access to a trigger. If I search for video, the trigger is called video tracking. So I could filter and say if it's in my funnel, my HighLevel quick start guide. Then we'd add another filter to say video is any of, we could say HighLevel quick start guide workshop. That would be the video file. I could also get rid of the funnel if I wanted to, and then just say which video it is. And at least at the time of recording this, there is currently a bug where the video can't be within any folders inside of your media library. You need to just have the video in the general media library itself when setting up this tracking. So for example, in my workshop videos in here, this video doesn't get picked up in the automation. However, this video does. It's the same video So if you're not seeing your videos appearing here, that's why you need to move it into your just general media library, and then it'll appear here. And then just make sure inside of your workshop, you have the correct video playing. So in this case, I would go to my watch page, I would edit this, I would select my video, and then here on the right-hand side, I would change my video to select the video that's in the general files media storage, not one of the videos that's inside of another subfolder like this one. So in this case, I would select the correct video, insert it, and then once it's done rendering out after being uploaded, it'll work no problem and it'll play. Now that we have our video selected here, we do want to add another filter, and that would be for video duration. The whole point of video tracking is to see how much of the video they are watching or not watching. So in this case, we would say if the video duration, let's just say is less than, so I'll do less than or equal to 50%. That means they didn't watch more than half the video. I could do an email that goes out and says, hey, we saw you weren't able to watch the video, or, you weren't able to make it to the part in the video that talked about XYZ. You could use that as an opportunity to market back to the person. So that's how you do that if you're interested in doing any video tracking. However, in my particular funnel, there's really no place for it because my automation gets triggered by them signing up. My automation is Evergreen. And in the automations, there is no action for video tracking. Video tracking is only a trigger and not an action. So you'd have to kind of retool your automations a bit to make those work. But if those are something you'd want to include, it might work for you in your funnels, but I would say it's probably better for like a live webinar with a replay afterwards. You could check to see if somebody watched the replay because you can check if they attended live. You could also check if they watched the replay. But I plan to go over that in a separate video for live webinars. But that's it. That's our automation. And under settings, you just want to make sure that you don't allow reentry. This is one where I would not allow reentry. When you're ready to go, don't forget to turn your automation on, and your automation is complete. That's it. We've reached the end. That's how you build a webinar or workshop, an evergreen one driven by a dynamic timer inside of HighLevel. I hope that I was able to show how you can create value for you, both double dipping on the affiliate and on the special promotion side, as well as provide value for the person that you're trying to serve inside of the free value of your workshop. If you'd like additional help with your tech stack, particularly with something like this funnel, this is exactly the type of stuff that we work on pretty much every day inside of Convology Plus. And any questions you may have are exactly the type of thing that you can bring to our weekly Q&A office hours and get some personalized help directly from me. If you have any quick questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. But that's it for me in this one, and I'll see you in the next video.